So got some parts in, engine, exhaust, waiting on a couple other things. There will probably be more in this video, but I figured I would do a little unboxing of this engine that I bought. It is it's a copy of a Lifan 140. So it's kind of a budget engine. It was like 300 bucks. So I don't know how good it's gonna be. I've heard from some people that it performs more like a 125. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing like the Lifan 140s or the YX 140s. So I was on a budget just to get this bike running while I save up for the 212 that I want. So yeah, let's get into it. My beautiful wife is going to assist with the camera so that I can get this unboxed and talk a little bit. Alright. So I got this for 310 bucks on eBay. Pretty substantially cheaper than the Lifan and YX, but I almost just bought a cheap 125. And the reason for doing that is I got this bike not running. The 70 that was in it, which is right here, had super low compression, and so it's going to need some rebuild work to get that to run. So I just wanted to get something that I could put around with it while I'm building it and making it a lot cooler, but I'm too excited, I'm too eager, so I had to have something just to bebop around town with. So we'll see how this engine does, and if it sucks, it's just not very good, then you'll get to know that, and then you know not to buy it. Alrighty. Sweet. Foam's a little ripped up, but that can be expected. Carb looks like it didn't get too damaged. Hoses. Snap ring. I think that's gonna be it for us. So I'm still waiting on a couple of things. Really the main thing I'm waiting on before I can even start doing anything with this is the wiring kit. I got the whole master kit from Bullock Performance, and that's on its way. So once that gets here, I will start to wire up the bike, and then I will put it up. So looks like it made it pretty well. It doesn't look like I don't see any damage right off the bat. So this is a like I said, it's just a 140. It's not a Lifan. It doesn't have the Lifan nameplate on the side there on the cover. It's just an unbranded, and that's why it was cheaper than a regular branded Lifan. So I'm sure performance is not going to be, up to par with that, but if it just runs and it's reliable enough to get me by until I get a 212, that's fine with me. So this is the carbon fiber high exhaust from BartMoto Co. I opened this a few days ago because I was really excited to check it out. So it was really well packed, had a lot of packing material in there to keep it protected, but I've just already since pulled that out. So let me get this. So really pretty, real carbon fiber. I think the couple of the older renditions of this exhaust, it looked like it was just kind of a faux carbon fiber, and they've since gone to a real carbon fiber finish on this outside. So really cool looking. Not a bad price for this exhaust at all. So and the header pipe too, really cool. And I don't know if they added this heat shield, but I'm glad they did because I was kind of worried about that. Just having the header pipe riding so close to the inner leg there. But a couple of the pictures of other people's pipes I had seen, they didn't have this. They didn't even have the little standoffs. It was just flush. So that must be a new part that they're doing on them now. But I think it's great. So I really do like that. And then the hardware and stuff. But really happy with it. Another thing I also got was this chain off of BartMoto. So that'll be good. This bike actually sat for so long without running because the friend of mine's kids had busted the chain on it and walked it home without a chain. And it just sat in a shed with no chain on it for 15, 20 years. So that was actually the first thing I ordered was this chain before I even found out that the motor wasn't in a operable condition. But all right, so this is fast forward a couple of days. The electrical kit that I'm waiting on and a couple of other things that I need are taking a little longer than I expected. And I have these nice shiny parts that have just been sitting there staring at me. And I couldn't wait to get it all mocked up and thrown in the bike. So I'll kind of show you what I did and tell you what's left to do. All right, so the motor is in the bike. I actually just have to put the nuts on the back of the 2 bolts that are threaded into the engine. But it's mounted up, and I contemplated, because I wanted to document everything that I did with this thing, I contemplated taking the motor back out and taking the exhaust back off. But it was such a pain in the butt to get that motor in there. It was such a tight fit, and it really isn't a tight fit. I kind of learned later because I watched some videos. I think you're supposed to loosen this swing arm bolt back here, and I think that's supposed to really help the frame kind of expand a little bit so that it just kind of slides right into place, where I felt like I had to force the engine into the 2 spots where the 2 bolts go. I really feel like I was fighting it, and I had to push harder, and I kind of had to take a rubber mallet to the bottom of the engine and just kind of shimmy it into the 2 spots and then just align those 2 bolts just right. And yeah, so it was kind of a pain, and I was just gonna mock this up so that I could see if there was anything else I was gonna need that I hadn't ordered. And there is, and I'll kind of get into that. But there are a lot of videos on YouTube of people getting these Chinese engines into these bikes. And so I was like, I'm just gonna let you trust that I got it in there. And if you really want to see how someone does it, just go check out another YouTube video. There's quite a bit of them that I've watched myself. So yeah, once I got the motor in the bike, I figured out, and I didn't come across this in any videos I watched, and I watched a lot, but this rear brake, the stock factory K0 Trail 70 rear brake, is having clearance issues. It doesn't sit very low. It's just kind of a really straight foot brake in comparison to the CT70 remake, the Ice Bear Champions. They have a rear brake that kind of comes down like this and then over and then straight up. And so it allows for these bigger engines that are bulkier, it allows that clearance, where this is just interfering with, it's like interfering with the pipe. I mean, it just barely misses it. It doesn't scratch it up because I was afraid of that, but we're just a hairline away. And then it does come in contact with the bottom of the case where this Kickstarter is too. So And then on the shaft, like I actually pulled it all, I took the cotter pin off and slid it all the way this way. I couldn't even put a cotter pin through it anymore. And that's how I had to get it to just clear so like the brake could be engaged at all. So it can't be run. It's just not gonna work. So I went ahead and jumped on Trail Buddy and ordered a remake of the Ice Bear Champion style brake lever, and it's it's a whole kit. It comes with the bushings and stuff for this. It's for the original K0 69 through 72 or 73 bikes, whichever it is. It's a kit for this specific bike that makes it all work. It makes it work with these aftermarket engines. So I didn't know I needed that, and I'm glad I put the engine in to see that that was something I was gonna need. I also went ahead and ordered from Trail Buddy the foot peg assembly that is for aftermarket engines. I kind of tried to put the stock foot peg assembly up, and it was already pretty mangled as it was. One side was way bent up than the other, and that's how it was when I got the bike. It's actually right here, but it's just hammered. I mean, it's just, this bike's probably been jumped or it's probably been leaned over, and so it was just, you can see it's bent. This whole side is bent up where this one's straight, and the mount, like one of the mounting holes is just ripped off. So it was just not gonna work. So I just decided, well, let's just get the right one, a good reproduction black one. And it's the one that has the vertical stand, so the legs that come down. So it has the side kickstand, and then the ones that come right underneath the bike, so it stands straight up. I kind of didn't know if I wanted to get that version with the one that stands it straight up, but I actually think I might like it. And if I don't like it, I'm pretty sure I can just take that portion of it off and just leave the side kickstand attached. And so that's what I figured out just by mocking this up. I do have a little clip that I think is really helpful that I'll throw in here just right after this about throwing in this exhaust gasket. I think it's pretty helpful. I learned the trick from another YouTuber, but I thought I'd throw it in for anybody who's gonna do it because I struggled with it at first. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this header gasket installed and then tighten the header pipe up to the cylinder head. And I learned a little trick from a video from Bowl and Built to put a little bit of grease on this gasket. Put a little bit on there just to make it sticky, because what I found is it's kind of a pain to get this to stay up there. And I also looked it up for anybody that's wondering, because I was curious. The flat side goes towards the cylinder head, goes on the surface inside the cylinder head, and then the round beveled edge goes towards the pipe. So let's see if I can get it to stick up in there. Sure enough, so it's stuck. I'm gonna hurry and try to get this up in there without having it move around on me. Hopefully the bike doesn't tip over. Looks like that's seated. This is where I need the GoPro, because this is kind of a pain to do one-handed. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm really gonna get that GoPro working. Get that headband so I can use two hands here. All right. right, so that's in there, and it feels seated. I'm gonna go ahead and take my ratchet. A little tight. You can kind of feel it squishing that washer, that gasket. I don't think it needs to be crazy tight, but good snug. I think I'm gonna go with that right there. There's no play in it. I'm just kind of wipe off some of this excess grease. But yeah, that's a good trick, and it's not gonna hurt anything. I mean, that grease is just gonna burn off within the first couple of minutes of it running, so it's just gonna smoke a little bit. But I tell you what, I was trying to put that gasket up in there, and I mean, I would not have been able to do it one-handed for sure while holding the camera, but I was trying it two-handed before I had the camera, and I could not get everything up in there and tighten everything. It was not gonna happen. So grab yourself just a little bit of grease, doesn't take much, but sure enough, it'll just hold that gasket right in there, and just enough for you to get this header pipe on there and then start the thread. So yeah, that's a pretty cool trick. Just to make way, because I'm getting the Bullock Performance, the full electrical kit. It comes with its own headlight bucket, a black one, 12-volt headlight, 12-volt speedo and everything. So I was just getting that out of the way so it was just drop in, so I could just go ahead and throw it on. What I really do need, though, that I haven't ordered yet, but I know I'm really gonna need, and I can run this one for a minute, but I really just need to get another speedo cable, and I wish it was something that came with that kit, because you are getting a speedo. I'd almost just pay a little bit more if it did come in any of those master electrical kits, 12-volt conversions, but this one's just cracked and just really had to stay. I mean, it's original. So but I mean, it does work. I spun the front tire, and it does spin the spindle, and so it will work, and I'll probably run it for a little bit, but that is something that'll be a quick replacement when the time's right for it. So, and then the last thing that I did, and I'll probably get a lot of hate for it. I know there is a lot of controversy around it. And I promise it's temporary that I'm doing this. But I am going to run the factory handlebars just for a little bit, like literally just for maybe the first month or two. It's hitting fall right now, and winter's around the corner, and honestly, I'll probably just run the bars until I got to put the bike away for winter, and then I will continue working on the bike once I have, a little bit more funds to throw at it. Handlebars are going to be one of the first things. So, and then one last thing that I did too, I just kind of threw in the gas tank just to mock up the gas line lengths and stuff. So, and I need to get some valves still, like a reserve and just the standard fuel on off. I'm just running a T right now, and then it's just going straight to the carb. Just another thing that's just gonna come down the line. This is literally just gonna be for the first couple rides, and then I will get all that stuff. But I just kind of threw the tank in there so I could mock up the correct fuel line lengths. So, and then also, man, I keep just forgetting all the things I did. I did a couple of things, but I changed the oil, got that factory shipping oil out of there, and then I put in this Valvoline right here, this 20W50 Valvoline oil. Put that whole thing in there, which is what it said it took, was a full one of those. So put that in there, and then I went ahead and took my feeler gauges and I set the lash on the valves. Got it to top dead center on the compression stroke and checked those, made sure they were good. There was one that was way too tight, and there was one that was barely too tight. I think they were both on the tighter side. I think I had to loosen them both a little bit. But yeah, so I got the engine pretty much as good as it needs to go. I just got to button up a couple of those mounting bolts right there. Like I haven't tightened that nut on there on both of them, but it's in there. I didn't want to drop it again. I just didn't want to go through that hassle. So it's in there. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Not the ideal motor, but it'll get me by. I can go on some rides and it'll be fun. But yeah, I'm loving how it's looking though. I mean, that exhaust is just exactly the look I was going for. So anyway, thanks for checking out the video. I'm hoping the next video that I make is going to be literally where I have all of the rest of the parts that I'm waiting for, all those Trail Buddy stuff, the pegs, the aftermarket brake lever assembly, and that sprocket, the electrical kit that I have to get this thing to run. Once I get all that stuff, I'm gonna do a whole video step by step, getting this thing the rest of the way there. Hopefully there's no last minute hiccups that are preventing me from getting it to run. It could happen, you know how builds go. Sometimes there's just that one thing you could have never predicted, but I'm crossing my fingers that that's not the case. But anyway, thanks for checking out this video, and we'll see you next time.